Tamara and Sharon, a duo prepared to light up the path, to bridge every gap. Access meets opportunity, there's no turning back. Forward with fortitude, the future's in sight. Together we rise like stars in the night. Authenticity reigns, love leads the way. We're speaking in harmony every single day. Speak harmony, let your voice intertwine. So let's move forward, ever bold and true. With Sharon and Tamara, the vision breaks through. Speak harmony where hearts align.
Whoa. Every time I hear it, I still have goosebumps. Wow. So welcome everyone. Sharon,
Wow.
looking nice in colors today. A little bright. I'm glad to see
Right.
you. I think you're bringing in spring.
Channeling my spring colors, guys. I mean, considering it's cold.
Yes, it's very cold.
It's cold here in Hotlanta.
And it's even going to get colder.
It's getting colder. But you know what? We're bringing the warmth in the studio. APAP Media is where we bring the warmth. Right, Mr. P? What do you say? Super Peck, what a go on? Yeah. Hey, Tay. What's up?
We had a very busy weekend.
We did.
Oh my gosh, we're still calming down and coming down from everything that has happened. We were at the wonderful winery of Dr. Darlene Williams at Roberts Vineyard, as we had an amazing event where you and I were, and we were part of the panel, and we did talk about love and relationships. So continued the conversation from our podcast last week. Yes.
Did we?
Did we? And
We
so
had an amazing. I mean, I can't stop talking about it, guys. I mean, you should have been there to really experience it. You had to be on spot. It had to be in Roberts Vineyard, Macon.
it's in Byron, Georgia. It's just outside of Macon. And as the Dr. Darlene Williams, who will be joining us in March, so we get to talk more about wine and how it's made and the whole production, not just production, a production that she does, because she does everything from growing it to harvesting it and creating wine. So we'll have her on coming up, and we're talking about legacy today. And she is creating a legacy now and for her family, for the generations to come. And we have a very important guest who will be coming on today as well to talk about legacy and how we transform people's lives because of our heritage.
Totally.
And so I'm excited about that. We had a Black Art experience on Sunday. We were there with Andy Morgan, Dr. Therese Morgan as well, where with BASE, it's a Black Art culture and education. And we had an amazing showcase of talent of young people keeping heritage alive. And I think it's important for us to use music, art, and dance, and whatever it is through the arts to create a legacy, to tell a story to people who don't know the story. And it's important for us to keep it going and for our ancestors to come, and we will become the ancestors. And through art, it's very important.
Absolutely. And guys, get ready. With no further ado, when we tell you, if you know anything you know about Harriet, you've heard the name Harriet Tubman. And when I tell you, Harriet Tubman has got her legacy is being carried on, Tammy, through her beautiful queen, great niece, Rita Daniels. Rita Daniels lives right here in Atlanta, Georgia.
Can you believe that?
Okay.
Right here.
I mean,
in the heart of Atlanta.
In Atlanta. Okay. And let me tell you what Rita's been doing. She is holding on to her legacy because this is what we ought to do. I mean, I get goosebumps just thinking about it because I met Rita years ago. But let me tell you, this lady has decided, she's determined to keep her family legacy alive. Harriet Tubman, especially here at Black History Month.
Yes.
I mean, she's been touring. She's been on the Today Show. She's been all over. I mean, tomorrow she has a book signing coming up tomorrow. I mean, right here in Atlanta. Rita, I mean, she's done so much. She has the Harriet Tubman Learning Center that she created right there in Cobb County. I mean, Rita was born in Auburn, New York, okay? And let me tell you, she's got grandchildren and great-grandchildren that she will pass on this legacy, keep passing it on. And that's what we want to do. We want to keep legacy alive. So Rita, I mean, honestly, we need to bring you on so you can tell the folks exactly what Harriet Tubman is to you, and what you're doing to keep that legacy alive here in this 2025. What are you doing to keep that Harriet Tubman's legacy alive, Sister Rita?
Well,
There you are,
There she-
Queen Daniels.
Right here.
Welcome, welcome. We are honored.
Thank you. First of all, maintaining Harriet Tubman's legacy, well, it's been undoubtedly, it's come with its challenges as well as joys. On the one hand, the responsibility to accurately preserve and share her story is immense. It's huge. Ensuring that her contributions are remembered and honored correctly can sometimes be daunting. However, when dealing with historical accuracy and combating misinformation,
Yes.
there will be sometimes challenges. However, there have been times when securing funding and support for the project, such as historical sites and educational programs, that has been difficult. But the rewards they far outweigh the challenges. One of the most significant joys that I've been able to witness when it comes to Harriet Tubman's legacy is the impact on people, especially young students,
Yes.
who find inspiration in her courage as well as her resilience. And we engage with the community in seeing that the educational programs thrive as well as a fulfilling experience for the young. One of the things that I have done in preserving her legacy was trying to follow her journey. And that is the journey of Harriet Tubman, and putting out a very, very important book on Harriet Tubman. I don't know if you could see that.
Yes, we
Oh,
can.
yes. Yes.
Okay. And of course, you have the big banner behind.
And yes.
But it is about Harriet Tubman being a military scout and a tenacious visionary. Also, it does also embark on her roots in Ghana to her legacy on the Eastern Shore. Mind you, she did not live in Ghana. She was not born there. But her legacy starts with her grandmother, Modesty, who was an enslaved person who was taken from her home country. No one really knows what her name was before her owner gave her the name of Modesty. They spoke a different language. So, of course, when they were coming over to the United States, or during her journey, no one understood her. So, to this day, no one actually knows who she really was until she gave birth to her daughter, which is Harriet Tubman's mother, Henrietta.
I think. Okay.
Go ahead.
No, I think it's important for us to understand that the mother that gives birth, literally and figuratively, to a heroine, to somebody who changed the trajectory of the world, her name was unknown. But what was given and was passed down, from what I've read and understood, is so much more than a name. Modesty being what it says and stands for, how important it was for us to understand who we are as a people, and that sometimes we may not know where we were born or our family was born, but the legacy and the tenacity, as you talked about, that is passed down from generation to generation. Because here you are, generations later, 6 generations later, from that great grandmother, being able to stand before us and carrying on and doing the work in a very different way than what Harriet Tubman stood for as a heroine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you know what? I don't know what to say after that. I mean, can you hear me?
Loud and clear, I can.
Okay, yeah, one of my listeners. Okay, she says
She wasn't hearing.
yeah, she wasn't hearing. Okay, so Rita, as Tammy said, I mean, it is such an honor to have you. I mean, just to be in your presence. I mean, just to be able to speak to you, okay, and hear all that information. Ghana. I mean, same thing here. I mean, born in Jamaica, and I always tell people this: born in Jamaica, but came from Africa somewhere, don't know where. We have no roots. We were displaced, and here it is. I wish I was in your shoe, Rita. And so each and every one of us, you have, since I met you, I've been digging, and I want to be able to trace my roots. So I've been asking questions, I've been documenting, and guess what? How did you start all of this? How did this process come about? I mean, getting the book done. I mean, the Harriet Tubman Learning Center, and I know that it comes with challenges for sure, because it's not an easy task. It's expensive to do this, okay? And you're just one person of many family members, and I'm sure. I mean, it takes a lot, and it's a lot of pulling and pushing and pulling, and more pushing and pulling. But when did you decide? You know what? I must take this on. This is what my legacy is going to be. I'm going to pass this on to the next generation and the next generation. It starts with me. How did that happen? When did you decide that, you know what? I've got to carry this on. I've got to bear this torch. Because, I mean, what about the other family members? You were the one selected to do this. And I'm just happy that you decided to do that.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, it's a long journey. That's what I can say. Now I can say for many, many years I've shared Harriet Tubman's incredible story with audiences far and wide, and it became very clear to me that her legacy deserved to be captured in a way that would reach even more people. The decision to collaborate with a person to create a book was driven by a desire to provide a comprehensive as well as a deeply personal account of Harriet's life and the impact that she carries to have on our family as well as society. Everyone loves Harriet Tubman. They're either going to love her or they hate her. And those are the things. But she was just, her legacy, it has to be continued. And it's not going to stop here. And I'll tell you why. And that is because when I met this woman, I was at an event in Connecticut giving a speech on Harriet Tubman and talk about all the things that she had to go through. And by the time I was finished, this white woman came up to me and she said, I really love your story. She says, I'm a writer. And I said, you are? She says, yes. She says, I want to exchange cards. I couldn't talk to her long because there's a lot of people waiting to speak with me.
Sure.
We exchanged cards, and she says, I'll give you a call. I've got some things in mind that maybe we can collaborate and put something together. Now, the last time anyone sat with Harriet Tubman to write her story was another white woman. Her name was Sarah Bradford. And it was in 1886 when they came out with a book so that Harriet Tubman could raise money for the Harriet Tubman Home for the Aged, which is in Auburn, New York, which is exactly where I'm from, Auburn, New York. And so I learned a lot of stories about here. I learned so much. We always went to the Harriet Tubman Home, but I really didn't understand the connection. Now, I was 9 when I found out I was related to this woman. But you have to understand, when I was in school, in elementary school, I had to write a report on Harriet Tubman. And with that report, I will say that Harriet Tubman, okay, so during my time, there was only 2 paragraphs about Harriet Tubman. And that was, she was a fugitive, she stole slaves, and that there was, of course, a bounty on her head. Now, I got to write about this woman. I know nothing about this until I go home and I tell my mother. My mother says, oh, Harriet Tubman, oh, okay. And it was like something that penned in her head. She says, "Well, Rita, have a seat because
Much more
I."
the story. Yes.
She's like, "We are related to Harriet Tubman." I'm like, "Huh? How?" She says, "It's a long story, but honey, let me tell you, I didn't find out that I was related to her as I was in my 20s. And Pauline, who is now the only living oldest descendant, Harriet Tubman, she is 97 years old. And so going back and forth to relatives and so forth. My mother passed away in 2020. And that was
Condolences.
during the time, yes. And then during that particular time, it was COVID and everything going on at the same time. And I ended up getting very depressed because my mother wasn't here to kind of edge me on to do what I needed to do. So yeah, I did what I needed to do. Um, I mourned and mourned and mourned some more. It was about 2 years. And then I remember what my mother told me before she passed away, and that was keep going, keep Harriet Tubman's legacy going, because if anyone's going to do it, maybe you can do it. And I'm
It's
like, okay,
amazing.
Mom. So when those words stayed in my head, and then I get this call from Jean after we exchanged cards. It was about 3 days later, and she's telling me that she thinks that if we collaborate together, we could be co-authors on a book on Harriet Tubman. I'm a writer, is what she said. And it dawned on me, oh, the last book that was written by another person, and she's right. Um, there's a lot of books out there on Harriet Tubman, but they're not legacy attached.
That,
Yes.
right.
It's, they're not related. So they're going to put all kinds of things in the book and see how that goes. A lot of them don't get that far because they're just on someone writing about Harriet Tubman information that they picked up and decided to carry on and do. But with Jean, she says, I want to help write. And she says, have you ever thought about it? I said, yeah, I have. I want to sound like the president who said, I have concepts.
I have ideas, have concepts, yes. But you
love
brought them
that.
to life.
Yes.
Yes.
Things on paper that I just haven't, put them all together because there's so much information. But I work 9 to 5. I got to pay bills. I got things I got to do. So I cannot do this 100% of the time. She says, well, that's all I do. I don't work. And so Jean's expertise as a writer and a historian made it she made it the perfect partner to help bring the vision of Harriet Tubman's life together. Now, we aim to weave together the historical facts, intimate family anecdotes, lesser known aspects of Harriet's journey, and the book will serve as a tribute to Harriet Tubman's resilience, her courage, her unwavering dedication to freedom, and we certainly do hope that it will inspire readers not only to purchase the book, but also to take a look back at their own family history to see whether or not they can put on paper their legacy, their journey of the family, because their children's children's children are going to want to have that.
Right.
That's why we have this journey where we put it all together, and I'm very proud of the fact that we finally got it. It took about 2 years. It really did. But we were able to do it. And just sharing her story in the book allows us to reach a broader audience and makes sure that we ensure that her contributions are never forgotten.
That's so important. And when I as an educator, when I look and we talk about the learning center and about STEM and entrepreneurship, it's very important that we understand that she was truly an entrepreneur in being able to get done what she needs to do. And she was an educator in herself, because being able to do what she did with Underground Railroad, to time everything, coordinate with people, it's very important that we understand that she was a true educator before she even knew she was an educator. She was an entrepreneur, being able to overcome adversity and go through that. But having that legacy continue through education, that we can impact the current generation that we're in, is very important. And so we look to her to teach us about our history, about entrepreneurship, about STEM, which is very important right now, especially for women in STEM. So as we talk about the legacy and the continuation of what it is that she has done and what she teaches us even now, with you, with the tenacity and overcoming the loss of your mom and be able to carry on the story, even though your predecessor is gone on and your mom now has transferred that information to you, but being able to notate that and encourage us, those of us who we don't know our lineage that much, and we need to understand who we are as a people, because African American history is being taken out of American history. And I think it's important for us to go back to the salons where we sit down with our families on Sunday and we have conversations about who we are, what can we do together. So it's very important, and I salute to you for taking that torch on and moving forward and being able to produce this within the 2 years. It's a remarkable feat, and I truly am honored to sit here and be able to speak with you today about this.
Thank you. It's also an honor to sit here and speak with you as well. And one of the things that I take away from all of this is that now that there is a book on Harriet Tubman, my children can pass that story on, because what Harriet Tubman went through is all on paper now. It's written. And I tell my kids, we're not going back.
Oh, say it again
One more time.
for the record.
You're not going back.
Right.
If you look at what's happening right now, DEI, and you name it, all CRT, all kinds of things are being removed. And if you don't know your history, if you don't know where you've been, where your family's been, you don't know where you're going either.
Absolutely.
Because my great aunt, she fought the good fight, and she made it to the age of 92
Yes.
to be able to say, I did this. I went through the underground. I had helpers. I had this. Same thing with today, with what's happening. Our president is not sending undocumented folks to Guantanamo and certain places, taking them out of jobs and so forth. Who do you think he's going to try to put in those jobs?
That's a
Not
real
people
thing.
that look like us, that's for sure, because they not like us.
Well, most people don't, but sometimes people that don't have jobs and they
Right.
need funding and they're not getting them. And the main thing also, a lot of them don't have the education. They don't have what they need
The
to
resources.
carry on.
And that's important.
They've got to do something to maintain a lifestyle.
Yeah.
But see, you couldn't come to me and say, well, you know what? We got some things for you to do. I need you to go out there and pick that cotton. Or we need you to go out there and take care of somebody's children, and you'll get paid $2 an hour.
You said it
Those
right.
things-
Yeah.
You said it right. Yes.
We're not going back.
We're not going back. And
We
I'm
will
glad
not.
that's resonating with me as we wind down. I mean, gosh, I wish I had an hour or two. We wish we had time, Rita, to really get to the meat of the matter, because what it is right now is for each of you guys listening, watching, this is our homework, guys. This is the time that we have to gather ourselves, like Tammy stated earlier. We have to gather ourselves and find out about our roots. We got to dig deep. For those elders that we have around, make use of that opportunity. Record them on paper, journal it, record it.
Digitally,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Digitally.
Voice.
And make sure we have these records so we can pass it on to the next generation and next generation. Because what they're trying to do to us, okay, it's an all-out assault.
Yep.
They're trying their best to just annihilate us, erase us from history. And guess what? Bob Marley, I think it is, who says, if you don't know your history, you don't know where you're coming from. Guess what?
Right.
That's why we've got to, this is what we do. We have conversations like these, So it starts with Harriet. And I just want to say, on behalf of everyone here listening out there, in listening and watching. We thank you, Rita, for
Yes.
bringing Harriet, making her dream, bringing her alive, keeping her legacy alive.
Yes.
I appreciate that because honestly, I'm going to do my soul search. I'm going to do my digging and I'm going to do my documenting because we're going to keep it. We're not going back. We're moving ahead. And it's for each and every one of us to pull together, collaborate, Tammy, which is this is our word, we have coined that. Okay? Collaborating because that's
very
what we're
important.
here to do, Rita. That's what we're here to. It wasn't by happenstance that we met when we met years ago at the Harriet Tubman movie premiere years ago. And here we are today. And we're going to continue because guess what? The funding is not there.
No.
We're not seeing it right now. But you
Yes.
know what? Guess what? It is there.
The more we
And
talk about it and more we
Of
bring
course,
it
it's
to the
coming.
forefront.
We got to speak
Yes.
it into existence.
Absolutely.
So for any one of you out there with disposable income, and we got to start. We don't have to start with $100. We can start with $5.
Exactly.
In Jamaica, we say every mickle
Makes
make
a
a
muckle.
muckle. In other words, it adds up. Every $5, and that's what they did back in Black Wall Street. When they did back in the day when we just had to survive and thrive. These are the days, guys. These are some serious days. But you know what?
Yes.
We're going to be positive and we're going to forge ahead. And let me tell you, the Harriet Tubman Learning Center, the museum, I'm speaking all of that into existence. It is a done deal. Okay?
Continue.
People are going to be pouring into your bosom. Your phone is going to be ringing off the hook. Is there any way anybody listening could get a connection with you? I mean,
More information.
More information, Rita. I mean, how could they touch bases with you? If somebody out there with $1 million, $100 million to invest right now, how could they get in touch with you? Can you share that information?
They can call me. I have two phone lines. One is the Harriet Tubman phone line, and that's the 678-761-0040. You can go to our website, donate to the Harriet Tubman Learning Center. You can purchase the book. That's also helpful. Inside that book is a QR code directly to donating to the Harriet Tubman Learning Center. And everyone needs to remember that Black education is being removed from the schools. Our kids need to know the history. And the Harriet Tubman Learning Center is just that. Now, we are an after-school program, which was very successful. Very successful. And we just ran out of money because I used all of my retirement money because that's how I believed it. But I did not go to the government and asking them for anything because they want to tell you what you can and cannot teach. So that would mean I cannot teach my great aunt's story. I cannot tell anyone that story if they have anything to do with it. So the Harriet Tubman Learning Center is for the underserved children. And just remember that Harriet Tubman was not given the opportunity to learn how to read or write.
Right.
But she had so much common sense, even despite suffering a traumatic head injury that put her in a lifelong health issue problem, basically. But because even with that, it did not deter her from the mission that she decided to achieve, and that is helping her family and others achieve that freedom. She outsmarted the slave catchers. She led dozens of missions on the Underground Railroad without losing a single person. That is truly, truly remarkable.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. But we cannot thank you enough again for being here. We are saluting you, and we know you will have a successful event tomorrow.
Absolutely.
And we truly, truly applaud the work that you continue to do. And we will be advocating for the Learning Center and so much more, because this is not the end of our conversation with you and the time we will spend in imploring people to help in whatever way that we can. But we truly appreciate you coming on and taking the time, because we know you have to get ready for tomorrow, because it's going to be an amazing turnout and an amazing
Yes.
day.
Yes, tomorrow I'll be at the British Consulate. Thursday I'm going to be at the Georgia Center that's in Decatur. I'm going to be at a few high schools, Catholic schools, so many places that I'm going to. And just remember, I'm not quitting. I'm going to keep going until this happens. I just need someone that's got the big bucks to say, you know what? I need to be on board with this. I need to help Rita get the Harriet Tubman Learning Centers open, not just here in Georgia, but we're looking at DC. We're looking at Connecticut, various places who have already reached out to me because they want to open one. So it doesn't matter where you are, just come up with the funding. We can do it.
Absolutely.
We'll
And
have
we
to have it
salute you. Happy. You are Black History Month.
Yes, absolutely.
Queen Rita Daniels, we thank you. We salute you. And we're going to do this again because you know what? It's only starting, Tammy. I mean, this is it. We just planted a seed. That's what it is. So when we come back, guess what? We'll have fruits on that tree. Believe it or not. I'm bypassing the buds, the blossoms. I'm just saying we're going to just go pick them fruits off the trees because this is our history, Black history. Salute you again,
Thank
Queen
you.
Rita.
Thank you.
Have
Thank
an
you.
amazing day. Right.
Have a good one.
Thank
you for coming
you.
on.
Thank you for having me.
You are
Absolutely. It was a pleasure.
Our pleasure.
Wow.
Can you believe?
Girlfriend.
Ooh, the goosebumps. You know, we did something yesterday when we talk about people who are fighting behind the scenes.
Yes.
We got to meet with an amazing woman yesterday as well, Katrina, who is helping women escape. And so when we talk about, you know,
The modern day Harriet Tubman.
the modern day, literally and figuratively, where she's helping women escape. And we had conversations yesterday where we're able to help 5 unhoused women with furniture, with bedding, with different things. But there are women and there are people fighting the fight to help people escape from harm.
Yes.
You know, women who are being trafficked, different things like that. And it's very important that we understand and we salute everyday living heroes and heroines like Katrina, who we saw today. We're on the phone with her, you know, trying to get housing secured for someone today. And it takes not a lot. Some day is just being able to pay for a hotel or doing something. But when we are experiencing people who are like Harriet Tubman, like Katrina,
Yes.
who do the work every day. You know, today when I was paying for the hotel and I spoke to the person at the hotel front desk and I kept saying, just don't put the person out. Just don't put that person out. Just hold on for me.
Yes.
And, you know, he was very gracious.
Yeah.
And I said to him, you know, I wanted to salute what he did. He didn't
Absolutely.
follow the book to say she had to be out by 11 because 12 o'clock we were still struggling to get things together. But we have to understand that you can be a change agent now. It takes courage for somebody to step up to the plate and be able to go against the grain and salute them for what they do.
Of course.
And
The
keep
unsung
it-
heroes.
The unsung heroes.
That's it.
Absolutely.
And that's what we're gonna do, Tammy. You and I, we've talked about this, and we're just gonna keep on fighting because you know what? We have another unsung hero.
Yes.
Who's doing great stuff. I mean, she's many moons away on the other side, on the other coast. But let me tell you, when I tell you she's doing amazing, amazing, amazing things. I mean,
Dr. Tanya,
Let me tell
listen,
you.
I'm so excited just to hear what she
Oh,
has to say
girlfriend.
when she talks about these
Girlfriend.
52 different ways and all these things that are coming out.
Oh,
the
my
book.
God.
And, you know, I'm reading the bio and I'm just like, okay, can I be in the room with her literally? I know we're in here away from it and virtually, but I want to be in the room when she's having these conversations.
Yes.
As a three-time, not just one time, Amazon bestseller.
bestseller.
And I said, you know, I'm humbled to know that I can even interview her and we have her here and talking about, again, leaving a legacy. And these are legacy builders. These are the unsung heroes that teach us as women what we need to do as entrepreneurs overall. But I think there is an affinity to helping women secure their bag. And it's funny because I do a training called Secure Your Bag where we literally paint the bags. So we have to talk about that, Doc. We have to talk about that, Dr. Tanya.
I love it.
I see she's on behind the scenes waiting to come in. I am truly honored and excited to have her. And I'll have you introduce her because this is your
Oh
guest.
my gosh, Dr. Tanya. Where do we start? Dr. Tanya Blackman. Okay, she's got all those names behind her, those titles. But you know what? It doesn't mean a thing when you have all them titles and you're not doing the work. Mm-hmm. She's been putting in the work, Tammy. I mean, she's the queen of grants.
Yes.
Okay, a highly sought after speaker, global business professor, author, global business, I mean, a businesswoman, and we are saluting Black history. And we just came from one legacy to another. And you're our Harriet Tubman, Sister Tanya. You are Dr. Tanya. You're our hero, our Harriet Tubman, our modern day Harriet Tubman. I mean, you've done it all. I mean, you're married, it says, with children and grandchildren, but the legacy that you have given, you've shared, and you've implanted in so many persons around you, your children and grandchildren will forever be blessed. And so without further ado, I want to bring Dr. Tanya Blackman to the front page, Black History Month. Let us salute you, my dear.
Welcome.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to Speak Harmony. Speak your harmony right now. Speak harmony to the folks listening and watching.
Oh, I want to thank you, Sharon, and also your beautiful co-host. What's your name?
Tamra.
Tambra. Thank you so much for having me be a part of your platform today. I know that nothing happens by chance. I'm honored to be here. I'm honored to celebrate Black history. I'm honored to celebrate women.
Absolutely. We're excited. And that's a big thing that we have, as, you know, even with Miss Rita was talking about with DEI being pulled out of our system and different things like that, where opportunities are often not given to women. And if they are given, we are not paid the same. And through some economic non-diversity, you know, the playing field is not often leveled. So when we see opportunities, as like what you were saying, that there are things that we can do to get grants, things that we can do to succeed and be successful, and you are showing us the real life and the truth about being successful as a woman and carrying on something that is important, and for us to understand that where there's a will, there's a way. So tell us how you became an author. Why did you decide to write about this and to help entrepreneurs or women in general?
Oh, I am a woman of God, first of all. I'm a Christian, and I have been called to help people walk into their wealthy place. I know that for sure. So that's one of the reasons why I decided to do it. But to be honest with you, it started way back with my great grandmother, who was a business owner. She actually cooked food and sold it. And then my grandmother had a few businesses herself. And then my mother took a $2,000 credit card loan, and started a business that made at least $300,000 a year. So it's in my blood, it's in my DNA to earn money, to make money, and to show others how to walk in their wealthy place.
That's amazing. We talk about, you know, this legacy again about grandmothers.
Of course.
How important is it, and your grandmother now, to pass on those traits, to pass on the understanding of who you are and why you are where you are today? It's important. I'm very much the product of two grandmothers who worked very hard and understood that they had to make a difference and provide for their children, but also for a community. I think the biggest thing, as we heard from Ms. Rita Dance and we're hearing from you now, is community, is building that community, and how important it is to have that.
And our operative word on Speak Harmony is collaborating. That's what we do. We collaborate. We come together because, you know what? Together we thrive. Mm-hmm. Together we thrive. And this is where our mantra right here is, where access meets opportunity. Because without that, I mean, you know, look, we're nothing without each other. And that's what it is. That's why we love people who are open and willing to share their knowledge, share their skills. How did you get to that place? I mean, Dr. Tanya, I know, look, you've got a legacy, a long legacy of great women, Harriet Tubmans, okay, soldiers. But I want to find out, at what point did you decide, I wanted to be that author? How did this come about? I mean, seriously, at what age, what teacher? Because they say sometimes it's a teacher that sparks this interest, but in your case, it's your great-grandmother, your grandmother, your mother, and here you are. I mean, how did that start? Because there are people listening and watching, and they're going, I don't know if I don't have a grandmother, I don't have a mother anymore. How do I get started?
Oh, that's so simple. It's so easy to write a book today for sure. But the way that I got it started was I had a dream. And in that dream, I saw a book and I saw my name, the title of the book, and then my name is the author on the book. And then out of that dream, I said, okay, God, Tell me what you want me to put in this book. So it took me about maybe 48 hours to write the incomplete book. And then after
48
that, I could
hours.
hear 48 hours because I didn't
Wow.
do anything else. I just wrote the book.
Okay.
And that was my first book. It's called 7 Days to Spiritual Awareness. Was my first book. Many, many, many years ago, over 20 years ago, that was my first book, self-published. So really, it really came from God. And then after that, I'm a nerd. I love school. I will go to school for the rest of my life. I'll always be learning. So because I love books so much, I knew that I wanted to share the different things to just help people, to develop people. And that's how the 52 Ways to 1K, how that came into being over a couple of years ago. Because I believe that if you live in America, you have what it takes to make $1,000 a week, $1,000 a day, $1,000 a month. Or if you don't live in America, you can still do it.
Interesting. And you know what? At the rate of things today, as we stand right here today, it's looking bleak. But you know what? What you just did, you just ignited hope. Because there is still hope at the and at the light at the end of the tunnel. So here's what you just said. Even as it's looking bleak for so many persons losing their livelihood after 30, 40, 20 years on the job, they just came in and they swiped them. And people are right now, people are desperate. But you know what? As long as there's hope, there is life. As long as you have life, you've got hope. So so either way you look at it, there's hope. Come back to the basics. Always. There is always hope, because what our people have gone through over the years and are still going through, and it seems like it will never stop, Tammy. It will never stop. We're those people. We're designed for this, and we're the comeback kids. We're resilient, so we're gonna come back. But you know what? It's gonna take a lot of us to pool our resources, get together, okay, and start just pushing. I mean, as much as they pull, we push back, and we forge, those relationships. We get together and I say, hey, Tammy, I got you. Doc, I got you over there. Mr. P, hey, we got you.
Right.
We pool our resources and lock arms. That's what we have to do. We don't have time to fuss and, we don't have time for that. We've got to be focused, because guess what? They will snatch it from under us when we get busy doing all sorts of foolishness, get busy getting sidetracked, getting hoodwinked. So we got to stay the course, stay focused. How do you, you've written many bestsellers, like Tammy emphasized. I'm thinking, my God, I am starting to write one page and I'm thinking, I'm exhausted. Books, bestsellers at that. Pray, Slay, Collect, Boss Moms. Goodness gracious. Where do you find the time to do all the other things? Because you teach. So tell the folks about the other stuff that you do. Some of the many things that she does.
I know, right? There's so many. I saw you. It's like, whew.
Yes, we're exhausted just thinking of it, but you do it, and you don't look tired. You look in what they say, that song says, no ways tired. You look fresh, girlfriend.
Because I am fresh. I'm going to be honest with you. I was up all night with my husband. He was sick at the hospital.
Oh, no.
And got in at 5 a.m. this morning. And I had to cancel my first appointment, but I said, this appointment I will not cancel.
Thank you.
Interview today.
Thank you.
So what I did is I made breakfast for him, because I'm from South Carolina, so I still cook a lot.
Yes.
I made breakfast for him, and and we ate, and then we slept. And I slept till about maybe about 3 o'clock. Got up and took the shower and put on a little bit of makeup, and I feel good. I feel just so I'm thanking God for this opportunity. And you know what we do? So I think what really makes me go forward, no matter what I am going through in life, is the fact that my great grandmother, she didn't have DEI. She didn't have that. My grandmother didn't have that. My mother did not even know what DEI meant.
What?
My mother, she died 4 years ago. And guess what? They made it. We don't need those programs to make it. We just need an idea.
Yes.
Yep. And we need to be able to collaborate, and say each one teach one, and we have to work together. But, we talk about tenacity again, and talking about the importance of rest. When you talk about, yes, I'm rested and I'm fresh, we push ourselves so often, and we think that we have to be continuous in this rat race, but we have to take time to be caregivers to our spouses, to our children, to our parents, but we also have to take care of ourselves. And so it's very important that we understand how important it is to rest, to say no, and sometimes we have to cancel things that we really wanted to do or reschedule things, but we have to make ourselves a priority. I talked about this weekend when I did a talk as well, that it's not selfish, it's selfless to take care of you, because you can't pour from an empty vessel. You have to be fulfilled, you have to be filled, and everything has to be there for you to truly be able to operate at your best and be your best self.
Wow.
And I'd like to say one other thing about the books
Yes.
is that all of those were collections. There were women that we all got together and we told our stories.
How powerful is that you tell the story?
Of course.
As I said, we need to go back to those.
Of course.
Go back to being in the saloon, call it the salon on Sundays, when you sat around and there wasn't TV, and you sat around on the veranda or in the front room and had the conversations as women.
Potlucks.
Yeah.
The potlucks. We've got to get
Yes.
back to that. Potluck. We've gotten
that's
so
what those books
distance. Yes. We've gotten too distant
That's what those books
with that as and I love that. I love that you said that, because that is giving us ideas that, hey, come Sunday, it's not just us and our immediate family.
Right.
Because we're all family. We're family. I mean, honestly, my siblings don't live anywhere near Georgia.
Right.
Okay? So Tammy's my family. Okay? Mr. P's my family, his wife. I mean, I'm saying all the people in my immediate surroundings right here where I live, that's family.
Yep.
And that's what it is.
Yes.
So we've got to get back to the basics. We've got to get back to that family mindset. And I mean, what you're saying, you stayed up all night, you took care of your hubby, and we're just praying God's healing for him even as we speak. But
Amen.
For you to stay so fresh and beautiful, like you said, you don't. I mean, you're rested. You look rested. You don't look in any ways tired. I mean, we have to get back to basics. There are people watching us, and we thank you guys for joining us on Facebook Live. We see Michelle, we see Karen, we see Norma, we see Candace, we see Janet. I mean, a whole host of people, to name only a handful. So if I'm not saying your name, I'm still acknowledging you. But Doc, listen, you find the time to pour into, like Tammy said, pour into other folks. Who's pouring into Doc? Who's pouring into you? Who do you go to? Who do you seek mentorship from? Because honestly, one of our very first guests actually on the podcast, she said it best, and I've used it a few times. She says, pouring from our cups, because honestly, she says we should not be pouring from our cups. And I thought, what? She says we should pour from the saucers. Keep that cup on reserve. In other words, we're sharing, but pour from a full cup. I mean, whatever comes over the cup, the overflow, that's what we pour from. Because, I mean, we keep giving, God's going to keep blessing. So we don't have to worry about what's there. Our cups will always overflow. It's overflowing with goodness and graciousness. So who replenishes Dr. Tanya? Who replenishes you? Where do you go for replenishment? Where do you go for that?
So many. I am so blessed. I have a global business coach. Her name is Wendy Alexander. I could call her in 30 minutes and she'd be on the phone with me. I have a spiritual mentor named Dr. Ernestine Lawson outside of Jacksonville, Florida. Anytime I need her, she's there for me. Sometimes I just tell her, just pray. And then I have two younger sisters that I talk to every day on purpose. And then I have a group of like maybe 3 or 4 really dear friends where I could just, I could say a curse word and they won't
judge you.
Judge you. That's right.
We listen and we do not judge. We listen and we don't judge.
Judgment-free zone.
Yes. And then, of course, my husband, he's my greatest supporter. He prays for me. There are times at night when his hand is in my back and I can hear him praying for me, So, and then now that I have 3 grown children, 31, 33, and 35, and I have 2 bonus children, I have my son-in-law, Austin, and my daughter-in-law, Betsy. They also pray for me, and they're my team. And then I have 2 staff members. One of my daughters is a staff member. And I have Jenilyn that lives in the Philippines. She's a staff member. So I have like a whole team of people that's constantly pouring into me, that'll look at me and say, "Mama, you're tired," or "Dr. T, you need some rest," and I will listen and I will go ahead and I'll do that. But most importantly is that I stay at the feet of God. I worship. I'm a worshiper,
Yes.
and that's where I find my times of refreshing. And I wanted this year to be a year where people knew that behind the scenes, the only reason why I'm here is because of God. It is in Him that I live and move and have my being. So I think if we just put God first, and of course have that community, going, and know what your purpose, what your call is, and don't worry about how much money you have. Just take what you have. And I said it earlier, if you want to write a book, I hope I'm not talking too much, but I'm going to share
No,
this.
please,
No,
please.
pour out, pour into
I'm
us.
receiving everything.
Here's my cup.
If you want to write a book, one of the things that I recommend you do is that all of us have Microsoft Word. If there's a little microphone app or icon, you just
Yes.
click on that. When you speak, the microphone in Microsoft
Records.
Word will record what you say.
And transcribe it,
That's
yes.
how you write your book. It will
Yes.
transcribe every word that you're saying. I have a friend. Her name is Dr. PJ Edwards. She is Sister Yvonne. They're both editors. They will edit your book, and they won't charge you a whole lot of money to do that. So I have a team of people. So I believe in collaborations. I believe in supporting each other, and that's how you write your book. You just set a time. You have to live your schedule. Okay, I'm going to have this book done by this time, and you just speak into that. Microsoft, save it, maybe 30 minutes a day. Simple as that. But just use the tools you already have. Don't be concerned about how you're going to sell it or anything like that. Just get the book from out of here and out of your heart and get it into Microsoft Word.
That's amazing.
And then-
As I'm thinking about writing a book myself, it's been a long time coming. It's very inspiring to hear that it's so easy to do it and to look. But one of the biggest things that you talked about was a team, and and that says a lot for you as a leader, is being able to rely on your team when you have things that need to be done and you have people in different spaces that support you. And I think it's important that we have those mentors, that we have those mentees as well, because as we are pouring out and we're pouring in, we're getting from, it goes both ways. And having that where your daughter is a part of your team, so she knows what will happen with the business and will then...
Legacy.
Yeah, it talks about the legacy. So how we understand it, but it also talks about leadership and how it's important for you to know that you cannot be the person who's always the SME, that there are people so we always have to be learners. We are always advocating for understanding and lifelong learners, because we don't know everything. And even when we've gone to school and we've studied the different things, we still need to learn, and we still have to be humble enough to accept people's feedback, their criticism, and sometimes just people saying, hey, you may want to think about things differently, because sometimes we're so one-track minded and so tunnel vision that we sometimes don't see what's going on or what could be done differently. And like you just said, there are so many easy ways, but within 48 hours, I'm like, oh, I need to lock myself down for a couple of days and get this done. So you never know who you are imploring. You never know who you are inspiring. And you have inspired me today. So I am so happy and honored to have met you virtually here today and to get from it, because, I've been pouring all weekend into people.
Gosh, yeah.
So today to get poured into it has been refreshing.
It's refreshing. It really is. It's uplifting. It really is. And I'm going to take a break to say, Marcia Parker.
Dr. Parker.
Yes.
JAICC.
Yes.
I mean, this is our connection. I just want to thank her publicly for bringing you into my world, because she's brought you into our world, in our space. We share the same platform. We share another group chat. And let me tell you, what she does is nothing short of miraculous. I mean, people people judge the book by the cover because, you're low keyed and you're chilled. But let me tell you, she wears many hats. She wears many hats. And I'm going to tell you, let me give you your flowers while you can smell them. Your roses, Marcia Parker, because you've been pouring into me. So I'm publicly thanking you for that.
Amazing.
You've been pouring into all of us. And see, Dr. Blackman is over there thinking, just pinching it up. What do you say? Twitching it up. Because guess what? Big ups to her because she is self-full. That is, she's not selfish, but she's self-full. She gives of herself daily on that chat. And I look forward. I wake up in the mornings, and no matter how exhausted I've been, I look forward to seeing her notices. She's always encouraging and inspiring. It's not perfection. So these last few minutes, I'm just going to say we're collaborating. We've got a beautiful event here. And I wish you were close by, Doc, because let me tell you, you'd be the icing on the cherry on the top, the cherry on the cake. Okay? Because there's a big event happening this coming Saturday that I will mention. Okay? And so there are a lot of honorees, and they say give honor where it's due. Give the flowers while they can smell it, they can see it. Okay? And so the colloquium, a collision with purpose, right here in our neck of the woods in Gwinnett County, Shiloh High School, right down the street. Okay? They're honoring people that are making a difference in our community and have made a difference and continue to make a difference. Okay, here we are up on the screen. That's him, Dr. Laxley Stevenson. When I tell you, he's another person of purpose. So purpose is what we are all about. We speak harmony, but we collaborate because it's where access meets opportunity. And so Dr. Lax has this amazing event coming up. So we're just going to ask you, the doors open at 5 p.m. this coming Saturday. It's Shiloh High School right here in Gwinnett County on Ross Road. It's going to be an inspiring evening, remarkable community members, different speakers, entertainment. The tickets are only $60, and for what they provide, what they're about to give. This is their second year going,
and the scholarships.
So let's just say congratulations in advance to my co-host here, Tammy Gammon. She is one of the honorees, Doc. So we just want to say big ups, as we say in Jamaica, and congratulations in advance because she's done the most. And she continues to. And we have so many great people in these communities that in which we live. And we've got to give them, So, I mean,
scholarships. So the big things that they're going to be doing on Saturday is giving scholarships to high school students, to college students, and that's why we're doing what we're doing.
So we tell them turn up with those students.
Up with the students.
Students are free.
Students are free. Come with those students, and so
bring them.
We can continue this generation of pouring into them and helping them to achieve their goals, to go to college. Some of them don't want to go to college or trade school. There are different things that they can do, but what they will be doing at this colloquium is pouring into these children. Our next generation. We have to show them that we believe in them.
Yes.
And so it's very important that we give children scholarships. It's not just about education as well. It's about people who are impoverished, in poverty, living in poverty, paycheck to paycheck for their parents. This will help their parents as well be able to provide food and meals for them. And there's so much more. So Dr. Lax and his team, Dr. Donna, Dr. Gary, all these people who are Dr. Juan who will be on stage, and Gary Hart who will be the host. There's so much to be had and to be seen.
Yes.
My artwork will be on display.
Yes.
And one piece will be auctioned off for a scholarship as well.
Awesome.
So we look forward to everybody being there, coming out, supporting. But Doc, we are happy to have had you. I know.
Before you go, we gotta let the folks know. You gotta tell them where can they find you?
Yeah.
On social media. What are your angles? What's your number? How could they reach you? Because guess what? I know a lot of people are going to be calling me and Tammy, going, "Hey, Mr. P, how can we reach Dr. Blackman?" Please share that information.
Thank you so much. I can be reached on Instagram at only Dr. Tanya B, ONLYDRTONYAB, or you could hit me up on my, I have two websites, muchodinero.tv, muchodinero.tv, or the other one is long, congempowerment.biz, CONG empowerment.biz.
We will share that information.
Wow.
But yes, amazing.
What an amazing. We're going to have you back in the near future, Dr. Blackman. But you know what? We just thank you for pouring into our cups, filling up our cups.
Thank you so much.
We really appreciate you. Thank you for coming in. And guess what?
Thank you.
We look forward to another episode of Speak Harmony, where we are. We're here every single Tuesday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. And we just thank, again, all our listeners for coming on. Keisha, how are you, Coffee? Otherwise known as Coffee. Thank you for joining us. I mean, we've got a whole bunch of folks that have been, tuned in to this show. We thank you. APAT Media. What would we do without you?
I know. They'll be there on Saturday too.
Girlfriend.
So APAT Media.
APAT Media will be, you call him Mr. P, as we call him, Patrick Parkins, APAT Media and Radio, and he's there. Mr. Cool. I call him the cool ruler. He doesn't say much, but he does a
cool
whole
and deadly.
lot.
Just so
Cool. Mr. Chill.
Yes.
Mr. Chill. Thank you, Mr. P. We appreciate it. This is where it happens, guys, every Tuesday. Tammy.
So we will see you on Saturday, because this will be a continuation on Saturday.
Totally.
We will be there on
out.
site at the colloquium. And so Speak Harmony, we will meet some minds and we will have the conversation, and we'll continue this conversation on Saturday, because again, it's collision and purpose, and we are making sure that we are community and building our community. Together we strive for greatness. So one love. We'll talk to you soon.
Have a good night, all.
Meetings of the mind, where wisdom is shared. Tamara and Sharon, a duo prepared to light up the path, to bridge every gap. Access meets opportunity, there's no turning back. Forward with fortitude, the future's in sight. Together we rise like stars in the night. Authenticity reigns, love leads the way. We're speaking in harmony every single day. Speak harmony, let your voice intertwine. So let's move forward, ever bold and true. With Sharon and Tamara, the vision breaks through. Speak